I'm on the road. What I ended up doing yesterday was I picked up this 30-foot Alliance travel trailer, and I brought it back home because I wasn't gonna get back to my house if I did delivery yesterday until like 3 a.m. and it wasn't gonna make sense. So I took it home. I got home at a good time. It was like 6:30, and I was actually able to get my oil changed before. Well, I finished it in the dark, but I got it done. So, and it needed to get done. I was at 10,000 miles, just about. I think like 9870 or something. I took it to this time. So it was time to get the oil changed, and so originally I usually order my oil on Amazon, have it delivered, and my oil filters and all that. So I actually had an extra oil filter left because I had ordered from Doc's a couple of their kits that came with like the fuel filter, oil filter, and air filter. So I think I ordered 2 of those last time. So I had 1 oil filter left, and I still have like an air filter and a fuel filter left. So I think it's about time to change my air filter again. So I'll probably do that this week. And then I think the next time it's due for an air filter, I'll probably upgrade to like a intake aftermarket, like maybe I'm trying to remember what the brand was. It's not AFE. S&B, I think, is what I'll probably upgrade to, with like a cleanable filter. So I meant to order it while I was on vacation, the oil. I didn't order it, so it wasn't going to be here until like the 16th or 17th, which is only a week away. But a week for me is, probably going to be 2,000 miles or more. So, and then I'd have to, that's assuming I could change it as soon as it got there. So I stopped at Napa by my house. Figured it was going to be a little bit more money, but I figured if they had the oil I wanted, I would pick it up. Well, long story short, I either run Mobil 1 or Valvoline. I think it's 5W40 for extreme use in the Power Stroke. There's 2 different weights, and one of them is for like a little bit more extreme use versus like daily driving, and I run the one that's made for more work related, I guess, just because of all the towing miles and stuff. I figured that's probably better for the truck. I don't know if it costs more or not, but they had Mobil and Valvoline there. So I ended up grabbing the Valvoline because I had a couple partial gallons at home, because this truck takes 13 quarts. They sell, the Valvoline comes in 4-quart gallons. So a case of 3 would only give me 12, and I need 13. So I bought the case, and I had enough extra left over to do my oil change. Turns out it was like $30 cheaper to get it at Napa, because I think I was going to pay $89 or $90 for 3 gallons of Valvoline from Amazon, and then it was like $15 to ship it, so it was gonna be like $105. It was only $75 plus I think $105 plus I do think Amazon charges tax on it, so this was $75 plus tax, so it was $30 cheaper basically. So I just grabbed it and I canceled my Amazon. This Napa's only like less than 2 miles from my house, so I'll just start buying it there. I bought from there before, but I thought maybe it was the Mobil one that I bought from them, and I thought it was on like clearance, so I just assumed they weren't going to have it anymore, but they had both of them. So the only reason I went with the Valvoline was because that's what I had waiting at home for the 1 extra gallon. So I'll probably keep running the Valvoline. I don't think I really noticed a difference between Mobil 1 and Valvoline. I believe they're both quality oils. So, like I said, I have Valvoline, a couple partials at home to get that 1 extra quart that I need. So I'll keep running Valvoline, as long as I can get it. And I think it was a few dollars cheaper than the Mobil, but the Mobil might be 5 quarts to a jug. I don't know, I'd have to look. So maybe it isn't any cheaper, but so I grabbed that, and then I had to get the windshield wiper fluid because I was low on that again. I will say for a truck, I feel like the windshield wiper fluid container is a little small on this truck. It doesn't take a full gallon. And I want to say my wife's little SUV takes a full gallon. I don't know. I feel like when they're building these vehicles, they should just make the windshield wiper fluid container a full gallon. That would just make sense to me, so you're not left with like a partial. But what do I know? I just hate having a partial windshield wiper fluid gallon floating around because I don't want it to leak or anything. So I keep a full one in the back of my truck. That way, I don't, because that is a DOT inspection to see if you have windshield wiper fluid and they work. So I always keep a full one just in case I'm in a pinch. But since I was at the auto store, I just grabbed another one knowing I needed some. That way I don't touch my full gallon. And then I just used what was left to top off my wife's vehicle. But like I said, I don't know why they wouldn't have made it a full gallon knowing that you have to buy a gallon at a time. Yeah, so I'm headed up to La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's like 3 hours, 45 minutes from my house. So it really wasn't out of the way, maybe like 15 extra minutes to run home. So, like I said, instead of staying out till 3 a.m. getting this thing delivered, I wasn't going to be able to do the power washing I needed to do today because of the insurance stuff I'm working through. They did come back and ask for different, probably just as hard of documents to get. So I got to get that figured out. My insurance company, the person I spoke to on the phone Monday, said they'll call me, don't call them to get an update, but I'm going to have to call them to get an update because if they're going to move slow, I got to figure this out. But anyway, yeah, I forgot to do a walk around video of this trailer when I hooked it up. I was dealing with a couple things. There was a truck next to me, and I don't want to get in his way. He was hooking up a trailer, and then we're really busy right now, and they had these trailers just packed in there. I didn't even have enough space to walk between this one and one of the ones next to it. So I had to get it hooked up and pulled out so I could really take a look at it before, because like I said, I wasn't able to walk between them. The only damage I found was the chains. The tags on the chains were all chewed up. So I don't know if when they transported it, they didn't hook the chains up and they were dragging or something. I don't know, but they're all bent and chewed. I took some pictures. I don't know if that really matters, but I'm guessing they didn't hook the chains up and they got ran over and banged around on the drive. And then the right rear tail light is out. So my truck was letting me know that it was like the blinker was going wild and stuff, and it was saying something about the light. So I knew I was having an issue on my ride home. Checked it last night. I don't have a right rear. So I was gonna leave earlier this morning, but I chose to wait until it was light out because I just didn't want to take a chance on getting pulled over, with the obvious tail light being out. I still run the risk because I don't think the blinker's working, obviously. But I figured I had a better chance of making it during the day than I would if I tried to roll out. If I would have passed a cop even in my town leaving, it probably would have caused an issue. So hopefully it's try to get back by like 2:30, but I don't think I'm gonna make it back that fast, because I got a job for my business right in my town at 2:30. But my buddy that works with me is gonna pull the trailer there, and I'm gonna have him get started, and I'll just meet him there. But the way the timing is working out, I probably looking at like 3 o'clock I'm gonna get there, so not terrible. He'll get started, and then I'll just meet him there and help him finish everything up. But I was trying to get out early enough to be there exactly 2:30, but I mean, it's still possible. It just depends on how long it takes to do the inspection on this one, now that I'm delivering it during business hours. I've only delivered at this dealership one time. It wasn't a bad experience, but it wasn't my best. I felt like the couple people that I was dealing with were a little bit on the rude side. And then they had me move the trailer like 3 times. It's a pretty small lot at this dealership, so I get it. Like they want it somewhere in particular, I'm sure, so that they don't just have to move it again. But yeah, so that it did take a little while during the last inspection. Like I said, it may not have been rude. It might have just been the personalities. But it wasn't my favorite experience. But this one pays $840, so you could do it in your 11-hour runtime. I think it's about a 12-hour day between hooking up and unhooking and a break and all that. You're driving for 11 hours, but you can knock it out in a one shift, no problem. Unless you unless you have issues, if you run into major traffic, shutting down a highway or high winds that slow you down a lot, you might not make it back. You would end up, or I should say I would not make it back, possibly. I would have to end up stopping somewhere, but it doesn't feel that windy today, so I should be okay. I didn't even check. Yesterday wasn't windy, but for some reason this travel trailer it's not towing that nice. It probably sounds weird unless you towed a lot, but like you can definitely tell a difference towing certain trailers. This one's only about 30 feet long, but it just, I don't know. Even with just a 10-mile-an-hour gust of wind, I could feel this thing a lot more than like some bigger trailers. So I don't know what goes into all that, if it's aerodynamics or weight distribution or what. I'm sure it's a little bit of everything, but yeah, this one, it's not terrible, but it's not great. But either way, I'm able to cruise at a decent speed, and I should make good time up there. I didn't hit too much traffic. I would have liked to have left my house a little bit earlier to beat some of the traffic I did hit, but now that I'm kind of outside of the Chicagoland area, I shouldn't hit any traffic really, and going up to La Crosse, I don't have to go through Milwaukee. So those are the two real big areas that I tend to hit traffic, is getting through Chicago, getting through Milwaukee, and luckily heading out to western Wisconsin area from my house, I don't have to go through Milwaukee, so that's good. I do think I hit a little bit more tolls going this way, so it probably cost a bit more, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure the one that I'm going to go through here, going from Illinois to Wisconsin on 90 West here, I think I want to say it's like a $20 toll or something stupid, but it's part of the game. figure out my plan for the rest of the week. I got one more trailer. I couldn't, when I went to the storage lot to pick up, I was looking for either of the two trailers that I had dispatched to me. And this is the only one I found. I couldn't find the other one. Like I said, it was pretty packed. So it could just be that I didn't see it. Hopefully it won't create an issue because I think I'm picking it up at nighttime. So if it's not there for some reason or another, hopefully I'll be able to get it, or a different trailer, but I'm sure it's there. I probably just missed it, or maybe they have a different number marked on the outside of it. Could be, but either way, I'm trying to figure out what my plan is, especially going as far as like up to La Crosse again. I think I've got a couple different options. I'm trying to figure out. I could finish. I probably have enough drive time left. Stop and take care of this quick job I have with my business, and then keep going and pick up another travel trailer on my way home. That might be pushing it. So that's probably highly unlikely that I would do that tonight. But what I think I'm going to do is tomorrow night pick up a travel trailer, the one I got, bring it back, and then deliver it Friday. And then I think Saturday I'm going to have to work within my business, and then Sunday I'll do another travel trailer. I'll just take whatever my dispatcher has, long, short, doesn't matter. It's going to get me over 2,000 with the 3 loads. And that's my plan for Sunday, is to knock out a load, and then hopefully Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I can run loads, because then I'm gone again Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Pick back up on Monday when I get back. So that's tentatively the plan. Probably only going to get through 3 loads this week. Only 3 loads next week. I do feel bad because I know we're busy and we're trying to get stuff moved, but it's hard right now with like me being on vacation last week and getting back Monday, and then me being on vacation again next week. But then once I'm back next week, I don't have anything planned, I don't think, major until like July. I think I'm going to like Las Vegas for 5 days or something. And then it'll just be like camping trips on the weekends and stuff like that. So the only thing those weeks I'll probably only get like 3 runs in during the week, but I won't be able to run anything on the weekends because I'm going to be with my travel trailer going places. But yeah, I'll for the most part after next week I'll be good to go. I think my wife takes a trip in May with a friend that probably, it's only like 4 or 5 days, but it'll probably throw a little wrinkle in trying to get some travel trailers delivered, just because I'll be home with the kids. But I think she's just going on a long weekend thing, so it shouldn't be anything major. And I don't know, like, this is my first full year in RV transport, so I'm not sure if there's going to be like a slowdown in the summer or not. It's busy right now. It was busy at the end of last year. Slowed down a bit in the beginning of the year. Man, this guy is not moving. Wow. Really slow. Anyways, yeah, I mean, like I said, it's my first year in RV transport, so I'm not really sure, when to expect like slowdowns and stuff like that. business. Really, the only time I want to be, I wouldn't even say really busy, but to supplement my income. The whole point for RV transport for me was the months of like January, February, March, to be able to supplement my income that I'm not making because of the weather in the Chicagoland. That was really my plan, was to be able to run, hopefully make 8-10 grand a month or something. Doing RV transport would be ideal. But I'm used to not making anything those months, so anything that I can add in is better than nothing. It's kind of the way I was looking at it. But the rest of the year, being able to do this and make some extra money, as long as it's not affecting my business too much, is just a bonus, I guess you could call it. So that was kind of my whole point with RV transport. But only other thing I wanted to talk about was stopped at another fuel station in Elkhart. If you've watched some of my previous videos where I have a little bit of a rant about the fuel stations around Elkhart, the only one that I can find that takes my fuel app, I think it's the Loves right off the highway. I can't remember what exit it's at, but I can hit that one if I'm going to like Alliance. But going to our storage lot that I go to, it's not the same exit. So I get off, I think it's like, I don't know if it's downtown Elkhart, but there's a couple mobiles, Citgo and stuff right off the main road there. And I have not found a fuel station that is what I would even consider decent. Like, none of them are actual truck stops. But I tried to stop at, I can't remember what, a Casey's, I think, that's there. This is like the second or third time I tried to stop at this gas station, and there's been issues every single time. So I went to fill up there, which it was like $3.70 a gallon, which is high. But I'm sure they know there's a bunch of trucks coming in there. And the first pump I went to, the screen wasn't working at all. We put your card in. So I got back in, went to another pump. I think there's only 4 diesel pumps total to fill up at there. So I went back in, got to the other pump. A very busy station, so that wasn't that easy. I had to do like a 3 or 4 point turn just to get into the pump around all the traffic. But that screen was working, but it kept saying there was an error trying to read the card. So I'm like, all right, I don't feel like going inside waiting in line. So I got back in my truck, went down the road to a mobile, which ended up being 10 cents a gallon cheaper, but it was still like $3.60 a gallon, which is pretty high. And I started filling up there. Everything worked. It was a very slow pump. Lost a lot of time sitting there, and then it stopped at $100. So I would have had to reset it, start it again to continue filling my tank. So I just stopped at the $100, which got me like a little over 3/4 of a tank, I think. Really, it was probably closer to a little over a half tank, because I had about a quarter of a tank, and it stopped at like 80%. So it got me like 55% of my fuel for $100. Like I said, it was so slow, I didn't want to wait any longer. I just said, okay, 80%'s fine. That's going to get me into Wisconsin anyways, which is going to get me cheaper fuel. So right now, I'm sitting at 47% left. I don't know if that's going to get me to La Crosse. I'd like to fill up right here where I come into Wisconsin, but I'm almost there, and like I said, I have just about a half a tank, so I think I'm going to push it further, because otherwise I'm going to drive to La Crosse, drive back, and probably want to stop again, which normally that would be fine, but I don't know, videos where it's, by the time you get off and get fuel and get back on the road, I feel like best case scenario is like 15 minutes, but realistically I feel like it's around 25. Because sometimes you're waiting in line at the truck pumps and whatever, you know, if you got to run in and go pee or whatever. Like I feel like realistically I try to plan for about a half hour to stop for fuel. I try to only stop once during a trip. So like I said, I really don't want to have to stop twice because I am trying to get back at a certain time to get to a job. So, you know, if it wasn't for that, I would just stop probably now, top off, and then top off again on my way home so that I get the cheaper fuel to get me deadheading back into Indiana. But I know I'm going to get a comment that says you got to get a fuel transfer tank. I'm still waiting because, like I've said in other videos, like this is my personal truck as well. And we are talking about getting a golf cart that I would end up putting in the back of the truck bed when we go camping. And based off, even though I have an 8-foot bed, based off all my measurements, I'm going to need all 8 feet of the bed for that golf cart. So transfer tank's really not going to work for that. And I know the other thing is going to be, people say get a toy hauler. My wife doesn't want a toy hauler. Our travel trailer works out really well for the kids. With the back of it is like an extra bedroom. With the toy hauler, you lose too much living space. I know you can use it as living, but realistically, like if you're putting stuff back there, and I don't really want the kids back there. Not yet, anyways. So we are thinking about getting another new camper, which would be a fifth wheel, which would kind of screw up the golf cart plan. But I was looking at some things you can put on the back, like lifts and stuff on the back of a fifth wheel to hold golf cart. If push comes to shove, I can do something like that. And then if we get the fifth wheel, I could look into like a fuel transfer tank to hold a little extra. But I'm kind of waiting to kind of figure out what we're doing. Also, I am planning to get another truck eventually that I can use for RV transport, and my business, just to kind of keep the miles off of this truck, keep it nice for personal use. So I don't know when that'll be, but I've been keeping an eye out. Like if something jumps out at me, that's like a deal that I can't pass up, then I would probably do it now. Otherwise, I'm kind of just waiting until I find that right vehicle and I can kind of save up a little bit more cash. I would like to just pay cash for it out of my RV transport fund. So that's kind of, I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. I ideally would like a 7.3 Power Stroke or an LBZ Duramax or like a 3rd Gen Cummins. And I would like to keep it under about 15,000, which makes in the Midwest, it makes it a little bit difficult because of rust issues and stuff, and people just end up wanting a lot of money for like a cleaner truck, which I get it, like they're worth it, but I'm not going to spend $25,000 to $30,000, say, on a clean truck that I could end up just buying like a newer one, say like a 4th Gen Cummins or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like if I could find the right truck for the right price, I'll do it. Otherwise, maybe I just continue saving up money and buy a newer truck, like like I said, a 4th Gen Cummins, or maybe another 6.7 Power Stroke that's a little older, higher mileage. And and if I could find one that's set up already with like a fifth wheel and an auxiliary tank and stuff, then maybe even like the right mud flaps and stuff, that would save me some setup costs. That would, you know, that's kind of something I'm looking for as well. But that's tentatively the plan for the truck situation, you know, and getting something with a fuel transfer tank eventually. So we'll see how that kind of works out. But I'll try to remember to do a video of the walk around in the trailer when I'm up there. Should be about 3 more